नमः श्री यतिराजाय विवेकानंद सूरये सच्चित् सुख स्वरूपाय स्वामिने
The topic that we chose for today is articulating India to the West or tradition to the modern. What is articulating? Do you understand the word articulating? The word articulating has, it is used in 2-3 different senses. It is used in the sense of ucharan also. Articulation is ucharan also. जिसके बारे में शिक्षा शास्त्र में पढ़ाया जाता है, फोनोलॉजी, जिस शब्द का ध्वनि का उच्चारण कैसे करना चाहिए, वर्ण का उच्चारण कैसे करना चाहिए, ध्वनि का उच्चारण कैसे करना चाहिए, इसको भी आर्टिकुलेटिंग कहते हैं। यहाँ उसका यूसेज ऐसा नहीं है। यहाँ आर्टिकुलेशन का मतलब यही है विचारों को शब्द रूप देना, विचारों को भाषा रूप देना, अपने विचारों को भाषा में किसी दूसरे आदमी को बता दे सकना, उसका शक्ति क्षमता रखना, उसको आर्टिकुलेशन बोलते हैं। अगर तुम में वह क्षमता है, विचारों को शब्द रूप में भाषा रूप में बताने का क्षमता है, तो हम बोलते हैं यह आदमी आर्टिकुलेट है। एडजेक्टिव आर्टिकुलेट आदमी है, ये बहुत आर्टिकुलेट आदमी है बोल सकते हैं। और क्रिया के रूप में, वर्ब के रूप में हम बोल सकते हैं कि आर्टिकुलेट कर रहा है, यह आर्टिकुलेट कर रहा है, आर्टिकुलेट आदमी है इसलिए यह आर्टिकुलेट कर रहा है। दिस मैन इज एन आर्टिकुलेट मैन, दिस पर्सन इज एन आर्टिकुलेट पर्सन, ही इज आर्टिकुलेटिंग। That is, he is bringing his thoughts, his ideas into words. He is able to communicate those words better. Okay? So, what are we saying here? India, you understand India, you understood India, but you want to communicate it to the West. You want to put it into the words to the West. How to do that? And tradition, you have understood. This place is the best place. This kind of university where traditional knowledge is imparted to you through your teachers, Shastra, Parampara, traditional knowledge is given. You have understood the tradition. Tradition is okay, you know it, but you want to communicate it to the modern. There are modern audience. In the morning we were talking about a modern audience, Duryodhan, Radha type, right? ये लोगों को कैसे हम बताएं परंपरा के बारे में, ट्रेडिशन के बारे में, ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज को ऐसे जो ट्रेडिशन के बारे में नहीं जानते हैं उन लोगों को कैसे बताना। परंपरा को आधुनिक प्रेक्षकों को, आधुनिक श्रोताओं को, आधुनिक पाठक लोगों को परंपरा के बारे में कैसे बताना। दिस इज द टॉपिक, articulating India to the West or tradition to the modern. This is a vast topic. I wanted to talk lots of things about it, but then while starting from Hyderabad to Kolkata for this travel, I told myself, let me do it only on a specific topic of how Swami Vivekananda has done this. The model of Swami Vivekananda in doing this, in articulating India to the West and articulating tradition to the modern, this job was done very well in 19th century by Swami Vivekananda. How he did that, what is his model, what can we learn from him in doing this, how can we do that for 21st century using that 19th century model that he has done. We cannot do the same thing that he has done, but there is a model, there is a method that he has adapted. From him, what can we learn? That is what I wanted to focus specifically today. First of all, he spoke in English, right? So, for that purpose, all of you have to learn English. And as you know, every language has got its own culture. The difficulty in translating ideas from one culture to the other is because of cultural translation. Every translation involves cultural translation. We think translations are always cross-linguistic, interlinguistic translations only. Interlinguistic means one language to the other only, but it is not. All interlinguistic translations or all cross-linguistic translations or cross-cultural translations also. We are translating from one culture to the other culture. In translation studies, what we say, we use certain words from one language. You are translating to the other language. The language from which you are translating is called source language. The language into which you are translating is called target language. In your case, source language is Sanskrit and target language is English. Translator should know both the languages well. In your case, you are already very good in Sanskrit. So, you have a great command over Sanskrit. Already your knowledge of Sanskrit, absolutely no problem. So, the second part, you should know the second part, you should know the target language, English. For that, they have kept English professor here, he is teaching you English. But at the most, you may think that I am capable of speaking in English to the other person, some tourist language. Put dal in my plate, this is enough, I want some more, I want to go here, I want to go there. Basic communicative English, functional English that is required for talking on phone, that level of English we think usually is sufficient. But if you want to do this job, articulating India to the West or tradition to the modern, that is not sufficient. You need more. You need more depth in your command over English. You should know better English than what you know today. Right? Okay, मैं क्यों करना चाहिए? मैं तो articulating India to the West, Vivekananda did. I am not a Vivekananda. I don't want even to be Vivekananda. I want to be a degree college lecturer somewhere. I want to be at the most a junior college lecturer. I want to be at the most a school teacher somewhere with a PhD in Sanskrit. There are people with a PhD in Sanskrit, they become school teachers. Or at the most, I would go back and do my agriculture in my village with a PhD in Sanskrit. मैं क्यों करना चाहिए articulating India to the West and tradition or tradition to the modern? क्यों करना चाहिए? स्कूल टीचर को जितना मिलता है, एग्रीकल्चरिस्ट को जितना मिलता है, डिग्री कॉलेज लेक्चरर को जितना मिलता है, यूनिवर्सिटी प्रोफेसर को जितना मिलता है, उससे 3 गुना ये करने वालों को मिलता है। पता है आपको? There are people like, for example, you know this name Devadatta Patnaik? How many of you have heard of Devadatta Patnaik? He writes books on our Puranas, stories of Puranas he articulates. And the company which owns Big Bazaar has given him a post called Spiritual Advisor, or something like that. I have seen that on his visiting card. And when I met him, when I was interacting with him, I came to know that his salary is 3 lakh rupees per month, some 10 years ago. उसमें क्या खूबी है? इंग्लिश जानता है। सिर्फ इंग्लिश जानने से ये नहीं होता है, इंग्लिश में, अच्छी इंग्लिश में लोगों को अट्रैक्टिव स्टाइल में अपने पुराणों के स्टोरीज बताता है ऑडियंस को, ये मॉडर्न ऑडियंस को। ये मॉडर्न ऑडियंस को जो कुछ भी बोलो रामायण के बारे में, एक राम था, भी इंफॉर्मेशन है। अयोध्या एक नगरी थी, अच्छा है, वो भी अच्छा है। अयोध्या में दशरथ थे, उनके 3 पत्नी थे। अरे वाह, दशरथ के 3 पत्नी थे, अरे बहुत ज़्यादा इन्फॉर्मेशन है। ये बुक पढ़ो, उनके बुक्स में जो इन्फॉर्मेशन रहता है, देवदत्त पटनायक के बुक्स में। ये डॉक्टर थे पहले, देवदत्त पटनायक एक MBBS डॉक्टर थे। शायद जूलॉजी, बॉटनी, ड्राइंग्स करना है ना, उसमें ड्राइंग सीख लिया है, बहुत अच्छा आर्टिस्ट भी है। अपने बुक्स में अच्छा ड्राइंग भी करते हैं, खुद के ड्राइंग्स करते हैं। ड्राइंग्स करके छोटे छोटे शब्दों में, आसान बातों में स्टोरीज बता देते हैं, अपने पुराणों के स्टोरीज बता देते हैं, उनको कम्युनिकेट करते हैं और उनको डिफेंड भी करते हैं। जो कुछ भी बात हम दोपहर में बोल रहे थे, आर्कीटाइप्स, माइथोलॉजी, मिथ थियरीज, ये सब जानते हैं। उनका एक ट्रेनिंग हुआ बॉम्बे यूनिवर्सिटी में, मुंबई यूनिवर्सिटी में एक डिपार्टमेंट है कंपैरेटिव माइथोलॉजी बोलकर, वहाँ माइथोलॉजी के बारे में ट्रेनिंग भी किए हैं। वह मिथ्स के बारे में जो कुछ भी थियरीज है उनको समझ लिया है, उनको लेकर के एक आर्गुमेंट भी देता है और अच्छा अच्छा समझा देता है। यह क्षमता रखने से उनको इतने पैसे मिल रहे हैं। बात यह है, मैं पहला दिन, वेरी फर्स्ट डे, ऑन द वेरी फर्स्ट डे आई टोल्ड यू दैट देयर इज लॉट ऑफ मनी इन दिस। इफ यू वांट टू गो एज अ जूनियर कॉलेज लेक्चरर, UGC नेट कर दिया, कुछ पैसे मिल गए, PhD कर दिया, चला गया, अच्छा ही है, चले जाओ, नमस्कार। अगर आप में कोई है ऐसा, इफ यू आर थिंकिंग ऑफ डूइंग मच बेटर दैन दैट, देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ मार्केट आउट देयर, पीपल आर वेटिंग फॉर योर हेल्प। What is happening there is, for example, with Devadatta Patnaik himself, he is not a Sanskrit scholar. His knowledge of Sanskrit is very, very weak. Recently, he published a book called My Gita. There are hundreds of mistakes in that. One very great scholar of Sanskrit called Nityanand Mishra, who is not in the actual Sanskrit field. He did his IIM Bangalore MBA, and then he went as a marketing analyst for a corporate company. He works as that only, in corporate company only, but he is a very great scholar in Sanskrit. He is one of the Sishyas of this Ramabhadracharya I was mentioning you, Jagadguru Ramabhadracharya of Tulasi Sampradaya. He is a great scholar in Vyakarana, particularly Vyakarana he has got a great command, and many Shastras in Sanskrit he knows, and he speaks good Sanskrit, good scholar of Sanskrit. he critiqued this book, My Gita, showing all the mistakes that he committed in explaining Gita. But the title of the book is itself such that he is saying My Gita. My Gita means whatever I have to say about Gita, I am saying. Why do you want to contradict? This is my Gita. So, if people contradict him, saying that this is not the correct meaning, he says, that's my meaning. I can take my own meaning. And they have one fine argument saying that Shankara interpreted Gita in one way, later Ramanuja interpreted it differently, Madhvacharya interpreted it differently, Aurobindo interpreted, Mahatma Gandhi interpreted. Everyone went on interpreting Gita in their own way. Now I can interpret in my own way, without actually realizing that I am not Shankaracharya, I am not Ramanuja Acharya, I am not Madhvacharya, at least I am not as great as Sri Aurobindo. Mahatma Gandhi also, he may be a very great leader of independence movement. We have a great respect for him in many other aspects. His understanding of Sanskrit also is very poor. So his interpretation of Gita itself probably is very weak. His own way of understanding Gita he did. That itself is not very great, but at least you have to be as great as Mahatma Gandhi, at least in personality, in philosophical views. But you are not. You are none of these things, but you want to say my Gita. But he did, and it sells in such audience. But imagine you with this amount of depth of understanding that is being given to you here in this school, if you want to interpret Gita to people, definitely you will be doing better job. Don't you think? You will definitely be doing better job than Devdutt Patnaik. But Devdutt Patnaik is getting so much money, you are not getting, all because he knows English, you do not know English. If you know English, that is not sufficient. You should know English the way Swami Vivekananda knew. You should know English the way Sri Aurobindo knew. You should know English the way they were able to mold English the way they wanted. They had the command over English. Swami Vivekananda and others, Sri Aurobindo and others, they had such a great command over those languages that they were able to mold it. Molding means clay. Clay से हम doll बनाना है तो उसको mold करना है ना. They were able to mold that language. We were saying that cultural translations are very difficult. So source language to target language. This target language has its own culture. It has got cultural problems. All those cultural problems were overcome by Swami Vivekananda. All the problems that exist within the culture of English, he was able to remove through his way of putting that language out to the Western audience and to the modern audience. I will give you certain examples. He says, if you believe in the 33 crore gods that your ancestors have passed down to you, and believe in all the gods that foreigners have brought amongst you, but still don't believe in yourself, then there is no salvation for you. You understood this statement? You have polytheism, we have many gods, you believe in all those gods, and some of the gods that we have today, historically, they are not originally Indian gods, they have been brought by foreigners amongst us. That's a different historical research. So, all those gods you believe in, but you don't believe in yourself, there is no salvation for you. So, this statement outwardly, it looks like he is asking you to have confidence, self-confidence. You have self-confidence. You believe in your own ability. You believe in your own competence. But if you deeply look at the sentence, what he is saying is, if you don't believe in yourself, yourself is one word in English, but if you break it into two parts, your self. He is saying, if you don't believe in yourself, आत्मन में, सेल्फ में अगर विश्वास नहीं रखते हो, that is a deep Vedantic statement. He makes that Vedantic statement get into this, and he makes it look like a very general statement. Don't believe in yourself, there is no salvation for you. But if you cleverly look at that statement, he is saying, if you don't believe in yourself, there is no salvation for you. Okay. And then he was every time bringing Advaita Vedanta only. He was an Advaiti, a hardcore Advaiti. And he was saying, you are not a sinner, you are immortals. You are immortals because you are that, right? You are that. He was, every time he was saying, you are that. That is what? That is that Paramatman or whatever. But to be able to say that, you should know that Tat Tvam Asi can be translated into English in a very simple English, that it is you are that. Tat Tvam Asi. So he was able to say that, you are that, and that, what is that? He was able to articulate, that is what we are saying, articulating that he never translated simply as Paramatman or Bhagavan or whatever, and he was also not committing the mistake of using Christian terminology like Lord. These are Christian terms. There is, when you use words like Lord, God and all these things, there is a baggage of Christian ideas that comes into that. He was very, very careful. He did not bring those terms there. He went on saying that, okay, ultimate self or the final self, the absolute self, the absolute. He translated his Sanskrit terms into correct English. He did all his homework. That homework he does not do sitting in a room or something like that. His intellectual capabilities were such that he was an Ekasandagrahi. By turning the pages of a book, he can remember everything. So his processing in the mind was very fast. So using that fast processing of the mind, he was doing this whole exercise in the mind itself. We are not of that capability, but we can do homework. Because we are not so capable as Swami Vivekananda, we can sit at home, spend time, take some more time than him, and do this homework of how to correctly translate this Sanskrit word into English. We have to be critical, we have to be very careful while using terms. God, agar God aa gaya to, ek God kya hai? Ek God to Christian God hai. Gods also, small g, this capital G God and small g gods, plural. Both these are Western terms, Christian terms. सोचना है इनके बारे में, ये गॉड कौन होता है, ये स्मॉल जी क्या होता है, इसके बारे में सोचना है और बोल देना है कि नहीं ये करेक्ट कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं है, इट हैज़ गॉट क्रिश्चियन बैगेज इन इट. लेट मी क्लीन these words and bring some good English word to translate whatever I am calling as Paramatman or whatever. For example, what is Parama? Think about it. Just in general, forget about Vedanta or whatever. In general, Sanskrit, Parama means what? The last, the ultimate, the final, right? And Atman, translate Atman, self. So, simple direct translation of Parama Atman will be final self or the last self or the ultimate self, right? So, keep that in mind. Instead of saying God or Almighty, Allah, Yehovah, Buhova, all that, why do we need those words? We have our own words. Translate that Parama Atman into the ultimate self. Translate that way and just keep using those terms that way. If they don't understand, if they say, I don't understand what is this ultimate, this self and all that, explain to them. But introduce these words to them. Just translate Parama Atman and then say, okay, this is called ultimate self. We have ultimate self and self, individual self. Individual self is Jiva Atman. Jiva Atman is individual self. Parama Atman is ultimate self. These are the only translations. I do not have any God. So you don't believe in any God? Boldly say, I don't believe in any God. You are an atheist? If that is your word, atheist is your word for someone who does not believe in any, that G God, big G God, yes, I am an atheist. There is nothing wrong in saying that. In his language, probably that is atheism only. Right? An Advaiti appears to be an atheist only to the outsiders, because he is saying that there is no other God than me. So there is no other God itself they take, and they say that Advaitis are atheists only. Let them take. Let them think that you are an atheist. There is nothing wrong. See, I am telling you, when we are talking to the modern people, tradition to the modern people, one big secret is you make absurd looking statements. They like it. You say, see, I am very ugly, I like it. They like it. You write a book, I am a bad boy. That is a great seller. You see their t-shirts, I am a bad boy is the caption there. They like such statements. So when you say that I am an atheist, they like it. Huh? So bold. Atheist? Okay, come. You are an atheist, I am also an atheist. But I am an atheist in a different sense. I am an atheist because I don't believe in the so-called God. Your God is a personal God. Christian God is a personal God. We don't have any personal God. We have a conceptual God. If we are calling something, some entity as God, that is conceptual. We don't have interesting thing about that is that that personal God is formless. Right? Our non-personal God, our conceptual God can be given forms also. Various forms and all that. When somebody reads Upanishads, it sounds as though it is a physics textbook. It sounds as though it is a science book. So if you translate Upanishads directly to this audience, this kind of modern audience, and say, what is this Upanishad saying? It is saying, Om Tat Sat. Then translate it. Say, Om, that truth. What is this? Yes, Om, that truth. That's all. He gets interested in that. That truth, Om, that truth. I didn't understand. That is why this is interesting. It is interesting because I don't understand. Om, that truth. Wow. Then you explain to him. It means Om is that truth. And how is Om that truth? You have to explain later to them. So the best thing to do while translating these things to them is to, as far as possible, resort to direct translations of those words, tat into that and sat into truth, directly, and then try to explain those things to them. Don't think that, okay, this looks absurd to them. Aham Brahma Asmi. What is that? I am that ultimate. I am that ultimate. Okay, what is that ultimate? I don't tell you now. Come, I am just telling you I am that ultimate. What is that ultimate? There is a class. I will teach you. First, in the beginning, you just tell him, my statement is, I am that ultimate. He may come with some baggage and think that that ultimate is the trip that he gets in his drug also. He may think that, okay, that final kick that I had in pub that day. Yeah, that is, I am that. This is what he is saying. Okay, maybe, yeah. How can you explain that? Gradually take him from where he is to where he should be. All teaching, all translation, all explanation is to take a person from where he is to where he should go. Right? So, from where he is, you understand him first. What is his culture, from where he is coming, whatever he knows. You try to understand him from his own point of view, and then put our words to him. They definitely are going to be very interesting for him. They are really interesting. When we translate these words, Upanishadic words, directly into English, Ishavasyam idam sarvam. If you look at some translations of Upanishads, they say this whole thing is filled with Lord, they have translated. Then people get confused. Who, Lord, how can Lord be everywhere? Who is this Lord? There is Lord Macaulay. There is Lord Ripon. There is Lord Clive Lloyd. There's all these lords, how can they be everywhere? Or Lord. That Lord is there, how can he be everywhere? That doubt they get. So this Upanishad may be wrong, they may think. Then, but you say that Isha is everywhere. Just say Isha is everywhere. That Isha, the word Isha, to them is a strange word. It's a new word for them. They get a doubt. What is this Isha? Wait, I'll tell you what Isha is. But Isha is everywhere. This is my statement. Later I will explain to you what Isha is. Okay. With this, what happens is they begin to learn some new words. Oh, there is a word called Isha. This word Isha, I do not know now. And what happens in such languages is gradually it becomes a fashion. You know, I know Isha. Isha, you know Isha? Now there is a foundation, Isha Foundation, Sadhguruji is running. He uses Isha. ये ईशा क्या है? इस फाउंडेशन को ईशा फाउंडेशन कहते हैं. इसमें ईशा क्या है? He creates a doubt in people. He creates a curiosity. He creates a zeal. He creates an enthusiasm in people. Then they will start wondering, what is this Isha? Then explain Isha. What Isha is. Right? One positive thing about them is that they do not know. In the afternoon, I was telling you about the music student who wanted to go to learn music. The teacher said it takes 4 years. This person said, for me it takes only 2 years because I have already learnt 2 years of music. The teacher said, for you it takes 8 years because I have to remove all the 4 years, 2 years of knowledge in 4 years. Then again I have to teach you freshly. That takes another 4 years. It takes 8 years. This problem is not there with modern people, because they do not know anything. For example, if you are talking to a person who thinks that he already is traditional, he only thinks that he is traditional, you tell him Ishvara. Immediately for him it sounds as though you are talking about Shiva. Because popularly, in popular Hinduism, the word Ishvara is generally used in reference to Shiva only. So he imagines that snake wearing person, third-eyed person, that Ganga wearing person, Chandrama wearing person. He imagines the whole thing. But when you say, in Nyaya they said, the sound and meaning, idam shabdasya idam ardhamiti, Ishvarasya Kruta Nirnayam, right? If you say that, they say, oh, this Shiva with all the snakes on his body, he created the meanings for words. All the word meanings have been created by him. Oh, this fellow must be very interesting. How can he create meanings? This is a problem with people who think that they know. But with a modern man who thinks that he does not know anything, there is this convenience. You can say, Ishvara, then he asks you, what is Ishvara? Then you will say, Ishvara is a concept. I will tell you what Ishvara is later. But just know that there is a concept called Ishvara. And with Brahman also, you can say, there is a concept called Brahman. He may not be able to pronounce it correctly as you pronounce. He may say Brahman, okay, chalega. Brahman hai, okay. Brahman and Ishvara, and two words. Today I learned two very interesting words, Brahman and Ishvara. And what is the other word? Jiva. And Brahman and Ishvara and Jiva, these three words, okay, very interesting words. Jiveshvara Bheda, Brahmeshvara Bheda, Jiva Jiva Bheda, Jagadishvara Bheda, Jagad Brahma Bheda, all these things, Madhvacharya talks about them, right? So, when you are talking about all of them, you can just say, okay, you now know Brahman. You just introduce words like that. You can tell them Jagat. So, Jagat is world, yeah, more or less it's world, but also not world. It is something different. Something different from world? Jagat, what is Jagat then? Jagat is Jagat. I will tell you what Jagat is. यह सच भी है ना, जगत तो वर्ल्ड नहीं हो सकता है. वर्ल्ड का जो बैगेज उसके साथ आता है मॉडर्न पर्सन के माइंड में, एक बैगेज है, वर्ल्ड को एक तरह से समझता है. तो उनको बता देना है कि जगत इज नॉट वर्ल्ड, मोर और लेस इट इज क्लोज टू वर्ल्ड बट नॉट वर्ल्ड. जगत इज अ डिफरेंट वर्ल्ड. So now you know Jagat, you know Brahman, you know Ishvara, you know Jiva. I will now introduce you to those terms. Right? Do that. You have to be so careful while introducing these terms. Untranslatability of the Sanskrit terms has to be realized by you. You should realize that dharma is what? Dharma. What is the English translation of dharma? Dharma. Dharma is not an English word, it has to become an English word. You say dharma, dharma is dharma in English, but later explain what is dharma in simple English terms, whatever complex implications the word dharma has got, you have to closely explain to them, then they will realize what dharma is. For example, how can you translate rasa? Rasa. For example, they sit in a movie hall, they are watching a movie, there is a scene with pathos, karuna rasatmaka, tears roll down his cheeks. You talk to a friend, a modern friend or a Western friend who is getting into that experience. What is that you are getting? This is emotional ecstasy or enjoyment that is making me get tears, he says. Then ask him, do you know that there is a word for this? He says, I don't know. That is what? Ecstasy, enjoyment, fun, entertainment, tears. Then tell him that there is a word called rasa. Sanskrit has this beauty. The sound itself is rasatmak. That rasa itself is rasatmak. So you tell the modern man, tell the Western person that whatever is happening to you at this moment, it is called as rasa. He says, rasa. 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 This is rasa. Whatever is happening to me at this moment is rasa. Next time when he gets into that kind of state of mind, in any other place, he says, oh, rasa. He might commit mistakes also. For example, in his house, he may get tears out of his laukika anubhava also. He might say, yes, today also I got rasa in my house. Then you tell him, no, that is not rasa. We call it laukika anubhava. Laukika? What is this laukika? You introduce that word to him. Laukika is different from alaukika. Alaukika. What is alaukika? Laukika. Wonderful. What is this alaukika? Different from laukika. Or beyond laukika, above laukika. So what is laukika? You tell him. Loka. Loka means world. Laukika is worldly. So the experience that you had at your house, the tears that you got is a worldly tears, but the tears that you got in a movie hall are transcendental tears. Transcendental tears, or the tears which are coming from an artistic experience. Then he might jump and say that, oh, this is spiritual experience. If he knows, that is the baggage problem. Then you say, no, it is not spiritual, because rasa is not Brahmananda. Rasananda is not Brahmananda. Brahmananda Sabrahmachari. Brahmananda Sabrahmachari, but not Brahmananda. So it is not spiritual experience. So, oh, it is not spiritual, but it is not worldly. What is it? Something in between. Between spiritual and worldly, there is another level. I tell you, the beauty of such people is that they enjoy all this. When you create such complex understanding, they definitely accept all this. They are open to it, because they are also tuned to kind of complex thinking. In other things, in their modern life, they are already tuned to complex thinking. So they say, this is very interesting, because you are saying it is neither spiritual nor worldly. There is something else in between spiritual and worldly. Then you can say that is why we call it alaukika. So spiritual is not alaukika? No, spiritual is also alaukika. Alaukika of spiritual type, alaukika of artistic type are two different types. Right? Though both are alaukika only. Just give such understanding to them, they would definitely enjoy. They go back, tell their friends, share it with their friends. I got a very interesting concept today, that the tears that we get are also of several kinds. I saw one person in Tirupati Balaji temple, that woman was getting tears. I wanted to know what those tears are, and I got tears in a movie hall. I wanted to know what those tears are. In my house, my wife made me weep. Those tears are also there. What are the differences between the tears that wife gives? Wife gives tears, right? And those tears and the tears that I got in the movie hall and the tears that a woman was putting in Balaji temple, they are of three different kinds. The Balaji temple tears are alaukika but adhyatmika. The movie hall tears are alaukika but not adhyatmika. The tears I got because of my wife are laukika tears. Not only because of wife, onion also can bring tears. Yeh bhi laukika, right? And you can bring tears into your wife's cheeks. That is her laukika. Both of you can have laukika tears. That is the beauty of marriage. You get married only to get laukika tears. To each other. You want to give tears to each other, right? Laukika tears to each other. There is lot of scope for tears in life. That is why life is so beautiful. But those are all laukika tears that you are getting. And there are alaukika tears also. Those alaukika tears are enjoyable tears. Right? You tell him, you tell the modern audience that When Rama is weeping out of separation from Sita, go to that Rama. Imagine that you have an opportunity to go and meet Rama and ask Rama that you are getting pleasure out of these tears, right? You are weeping for Sita, so you are so happy for weeping. What will Rama do? He will slap you on the cheek and say, I have pleasure. You fellow, I am weeping with separation from my wife. And the audience who is weeping, when Rama is weeping on the stage, if you ask him, how do you feel about it? He says, it's so nice. It's enjoyable. It's wonderful. Right? So, when others weep, and you are watching that weeping as theatre, and you are getting these tears, this is anandadayaka. It is pleasurable. You give this example to the modern man, definitely he gets connected. The character, even if a Hollywood movie, even if it is a Hollywood movie, the character inside that Hollywood movie, he is weeping. Go to that character. Imagine that you go to that character, ask him whether he has pleasure. He says, no. He slaps. So you get tears then when he slaps, right? So that is also Laukika. So that is Laukika tears. But the tears that you get in the movie hall are different. They are pleasure-giving tears. So what is the difference between Laukika tears and Alaukika tears? Alaukika tears are giving you pleasure. There is Ananda there. Doesn't he understand? These are easy to understand things, but you are giving these words to him. You are giving words like Ananda. You tell him, you should not call it pleasure. Ananda is different from pleasure. They enjoy because their good fortune is that they have no knowledge. They have no prior knowledge. Bad fortune of Indians, traditional Indians, is that they already have a baggage. If you tell them Ananda, they think they know Ananda. But the other person who is either completely Indian only but modern or Western, his good fortune is that he does not know any of these things. Then tell him, explain to him. There is pleasure, sukha, but there is a different kind of sukha which has no dukkha sparsha. That sukha without dukkha sparsha, it is called Ananda. You tell him, you give the word Nand. Nand, from Nand, you make it Nanda and make it Ananda. He enjoys this vocabulary. He feels that vocabulary. He feels the experience of that vocabulary and he says, oh, there is a good word. So it's not pleasure. It's not happiness. I am getting into some other level of experience, positive experience, enjoyable experience, and it has got a word called Ananda. For him it's a new word. So he goes, tells others, you see what I am getting is Ananda. Ananda. Right, good word. Ananda is not pleasure, right? Pleasure, it's not pleasure. Ananda is not happiness. Yes, it's not happiness. It's not this. Ananda. Ananda is Ananda only. Don't translate that into things like bliss. B-L-I-S-S, bliss. If you say he has got a baggage already for bliss. So he imagines that, that is bliss. I know bliss. I know what bliss is. He gets into that. You just give the word Ananda only to him. Explain what Ananda is in good English. Simple English words. He understands that. Then make him realize that Rasananda, Rasa is Ananda giving, whereas Laukika Anubhava is not Ananda giving. Through Laukika Anubhava, you are not getting Ananda. For example, Laukika Shoka. Laukika Shoka is not giving you Ananda, but Shokanubhava in a Samaja. You know the word Samaja in Sanskrit actually means auditorium. Originally, the word Samaja meant auditorium. That is why we use the word samajika for a member of the audience. A member of the audience is called samajika in Alankara Shastra, in Natya Shastra, because he is a member of the auditorium, samaja. Okay, so you introduce these words to them. You tell them this is called samaja, and you are a samajika. And as a samajika, when you are getting the tears, this is giving you ananda. So that is the difference between laukika shokanubhava that is coming in a movie hall, in a theater hall. This is different. And gradually they learn these words. Rasa will become a very good word for them. Just see, the beauty of Sanskrit is that very feel of pronunciation of these sounds, ra and sa, rasa, it is so tasty. There is taste in that word. They start enjoying that. They go on telling others also. See, the experience that I got in a movie hall, it has got a word. What is that word? Rasa. They don't even bother whether it is Sanskrit or Brazilian or Portuguese or Latin or whatever. Word is word. Rasa is there. He might even tell his friends that some language, some person from some part of the world came to me and told me that is called rasa. In which language? I don't know, but it is a word. There is a word for this that's called rasa. But later you can say that language is called Sanskrit. After introducing so many words of Sanskrit, you can say that the language from which all these beautiful words that you are enjoying is called Sanskrit. He might then enjoy, oh, there is a language called Sanskrit, and this language Sanskrit seems to be very interesting because it is giving me all these good words, beautiful words, enjoyable words, palatable words, tasty words, which are close to my experience and all that, right? So what you need to do is, first of all, be conscious that our concepts are culturally loaded, right? And there is a lot of culture around it. You have to first of all realize from your own side that these are the cultural aspects behind it, these are the complex ideas behind it, and then articulate them through those words only. Nowadays, Rajiv Malhotra, we were talking about him, how he fights with Sheldon Pollock and all that. He, in one of his videos, is saying, populate English with Sanskrit words. That's what he is saying. Okay, that may be a different political movement, but at least in translation, at least while articulating to the Western audience, while articulating to the modern audience, do it that way. And that is easy for you because you know Sanskrit. And you know that these words are not exactly the same as, for example, Bhagavan is not God, Bhagavan is not Lord, Isha is not Lord, Ishvara is not Lord, Ishvara is not G, capital G, God. All this you know, so you are very careful. While translating, you are critical. We say you are critical. When you think logically, without accepting anything, without reasoning, such kind of understanding is called critical understanding. Okay? Critical understanding is logical understanding. Understanding based on reasoning is called critical understanding. Critical understanding is the opposite of blind understanding. For example, if someone says, Kolkata is burning, the whole Kolkata is burning, come, go away. If you are just jumping and walking out, it is blind acceptance of the rumor. If you have asked for the evidence, where is it happening? How do I know that it is happening? Why should I run? All that, then you are this. You are what? अरे मुंह तो खोलो जी. You are critical. इसको क्या बोलते हैं? क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग बोलते हैं. क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग जिसको रहता है वह ब्लाइंड एक्सेप्टेंस नहीं करता है। न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ता है तो एविडेंस के लिए पूछता है। जो भी पॉलिटिकल न्यूज़ आता है न्यूज़पेपर्स में ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा रूमर्स ही है, बायस्ड न्यूज़ है। दिस इज ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड, नॉट ओनली इन इंडिया, all over the world. Most of the journalism is biased journalism only. Every media house has its own biases. One newspaper in America is a right wing newspaper, another newspaper is a left wing newspaper. Democrats support one, Republicans support another newspaper, or newspaper supports Republicans or Democrats in America. This happens everywhere, not only in India. We are not blaming only Indian media. Media is always like that. But the reader has to be careful. It is the responsibility of the reader to be, it is the responsibility of the reader to be critical, critical receiver. What is meant by critical receiving? Ask for evidences, ask for logic, ask for reasoning, ask for rationality, check whether it is a fact or not. That kind of approach to reading or to receiving any communication is called critical reception, critical reading, critical understanding. Okay, यूज करना है ये शब्द जो मैं बता रहा हूं। कल से हॉस्टल में क्रिटिकल हो क्या? ये तो क्रिटिकल नहीं है। क्रिटिकल नहीं है तो क्या है? ब्लाइंड है। नहीं तो मैं ब्लाइंड नहीं हूं, मेरे आंख है। आंख तो है, फिर भी तुम ब्लाइंड हो, इसलिए कि तुम क्रिटिकल नहीं हो। क्रिटिकल होना चाहिए। शब्दों का उपयोग करते जाओ, समझ जाओगे क्रिटिकल क्या है, क्रिटिकल रिसेप्शन क्या है, क्रिटिकल अंडरस्टैंडिंग क्या है, क्रिटिकल रीडिंग क्या है। राइट? अपने संस्कृत के जो शब्द है उनको हम क्रिटिकली रिसीव करना चाहिए, क्रिटिकली परखना चाहिए। वी हैव टू verify the meaning of this word critically, and we have to correctly understand, accurately understand that meaning. Then our intuition tells us that this English word is not able to articulate that Sanskrit word. Articulate, now you understand the word articulate. It is not able to put my ideas into words. This English word is not capable of articulating my understanding of this Sanskrit word. This Sanskrit word. Okay. Okay, so you have to do this. Don't blindly look into a dictionary, Optes dictionary or Monier-Williams dictionary or something and put that English word immediately into that. Then think of, okay, in English this means this. My audience, my modern audience, my Western audience have a baggage. They understand this English word from that point of view. So if I put this English word in the place of this Sanskrit word, that communicates badly to them, that gives the meaning that they have in mind for this English word. So I should not put that English word, better use the Sanskrit term only, or explain the details of the meaning of this Sanskrit word using other English words which are useful in communicating. If you are critical about it, if you are careful about it, then you are doing good translation, you are doing good communication, you are doing good articulation of our ideas to them. For that, actually, you should know these concepts better. For example, Rasananda, you should understand that it is alaukika but not adhyatmika. You already know. I know that your teachers are good teachers. They have already taught you very well. Here, they have already told you that laukika is different from alaukika, and alaukika has two kinds, adhyatmika and kalatmaka or sahityatmika, kavyatmaka. Kavyananda is different from Brahmananda. Atmananda is different from Brahmananda, which is different from Rasananda. All this has been discussed in classes with you. So be careful while articulating to the other audience. For example, if you say, what is dharma? If you say ethics, immediately what happens? They have the word ethics in their own languages. Whatever they know about ethics comes to their mind. Then what you need to do is go to internet, study ethics, take the word ethics and study whatever they have. Then you begin to realize that no, this is not dharma. What I want to tell through dharma is not what is being explained through ethics. So, ethics is not the correct translation for dharma. Then what is dharma? First understand dharma correctly in Sanskrit. Then think of how can I communicate this to him. For example, dharayati iti dharma, you go from the etymology. Then dharana is holding, it holds. So translate dharma as holder. Holder, bulb का holder रहता है. A holder है. You just tell him dharma is holder. That's not wrong. That's not wrong to say that dharma is holder. It holds. What is it holding? You just tell him it holds everything. What holds everything? You give a circular definition, a reverse engineering definition. You tell them that whatever is holding everything is called dharma. What is holding everything? I do not know. I do not know what is holding everything. If at all there is anything that is holding everything, that is called dharma. If you believe that there is not a single entity that is holding everything, then say that dharma is not there. You understand what I am saying? So, holder. Holder of what? Holder of everything. Pan holder. Pan means holder of everything. Holder of everything is called dharma. Dharma is bearer. Dhar is to bear. Right? To bear. So, dharma is bearer. Wearer. Oh, bearer, hotel bearer? There are bearers in hotel also. Then you tell him, no, not that bearer. That bears. Bears what? Bears everything. Everything that is borne by that. It wears. Wears what? Wears everything. Then he might say that, okay, I don't believe that everything is held by something. Then you say, yeah, for the time being, believe that dharma is not there. Because there is nothing which is holding everything. But gradually you can persuade him to say that there is something which holds everything. Then he agrees that, yes, now I agree that dharma is there. You understand? So give him the etymological meaning, dharma, say etymological meaning, or just say dharma, dharma. Make him get used to the word dharma only. What is that dharma? If he has got a baggage, if he may come and say, dharma for me is religion, Islam, dharma, Christianity, dharma, Hindu, dharma. Then tell him, no, that's not dharma. Dharma is dharma. And you give him the etymological meaning and say, dharma is that which holds everything. Brahman, what is Brahman? Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, Aksharam Brahma Paramam. Combine them. I have already given you in the last discussion that imperishable raw material of everything that is Brahman. Imperishable raw material of everything that is Aksharam is imperishable. Ksharam is perishable. Perishable means destroyable. जिसका नाश हो सकता है. Use that word, English word, perishable. They understand. Imperishable, raw material of everything. Raw material, you understand the word raw material? I have already given you wood is the raw material of furniture, right? Then he might say, I don't believe that everything in the universe, everything in reality is made up of the same raw material. For the sake of argument, you can say, yeah, yes, you may say that. You may say that there is no Brahman. If you are saying that there is not a single imperishable raw material of everything, you are saying that there is no Brahman. Yes, you can say that. For the sake of argument, for the time being, you can say that. But when you convince him through your persuasive arguments, persuasive explanations, when he gets convinced that now I understand that there is one single imperishable raw material of everything, then he that I now say that there is Brahman. So you need not say that I know Brahman, I can show you Brahman, come I will show you. No one would understand these things. You should be bold enough to say, okay, if you say that there is no Brahman, that is your argument. There is one argument that there is Brahman, there is another argument that there is no Brahman. Fine, wonderful. But gradually, if he comes to know that through arguments, through speculation, through theoretical arguments, and finally gets convinced that there is something which is the single raw material of everything and that is imperishable, then you can make him believe. One of the ways to convince about that is nasato vidyate bhavaha na bhavo vidyate sataha. This nasato vidyate bhavaha na bhavo vidyate sataha is there in, for example, physics. There are conservation laws. Law of conservation of mass. Law of conservation of mass is mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. And there is another conservation statement, law of conservation of energy. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So if everything is either mass or energy, if you put them together, what is the conclusion? Mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. Everything is either mass or energy. So there is nothing that can be created out of nothing, and everything has to be that only. It cannot get into nothing. It cannot become nothing. If you say this to him, then and translate na sato vidyate bhavaha na bhavo vidyate sataha, then he would say, yes, this is what it is saying. He might go into other details, law of conservation of momentum, law of conservation of linear momentum, law of conservation of angular momentum, law, all this, then finally, okay, go on. Conservation of this, conservation of that. Finally, what is that? Conservation. Conservation means what? Dash can neither be created nor be destroyed. Something can neither be created nor be destroyed. So finally what you are saying is that anything can neither be created nor be destroyed. That is this Bhagavad Gita statement. So instead of wasting time in saying that chair can neither be created nor destroyed, pen can neither be created nor destroyed, mic can neither be created nor destroyed, room can neither be created nor destroyed, and finally saying that nothing in this universe, anything in this universe can neither be created nor destroyed, there is a final statement. Nasato vidyate bhavaha na bhavo vidyate sata. That is the final conclusion. All conservation principles have been brought into this. So, if you agree with this, definitely he agrees, because he has already seen that everything is being said to be conservative. There is conservation principle, neither created nor destroyed. He already agrees. Then if you say that there is something which remains constant, sum total of all this is a constant, sum total of everything is not changing, then he says, yes, I agree. That is what is being called as Brahman. Then he says, yeah, now I understand what you mean by that. Okay, there is a way to take him forward. In the beginning he may say, no, I don't agree. But gradually, if you take him through the route of these kinds of understanding, then he would accept that, oh, logically theoretically there is a possibility. I don't know, practically I have not seen that raw material. At least theoretically there is a possibility that there is something called Brahman. Actually, before all the Vallis of Taittiriya Upanishad, when the student started, did he know Brahman? No. He just wanted to know Brahman. He just wanted to understand what Brahman is. You do not know what Brahman is. I do not know what Brahman is. Even the modern man does not know what Brahman is. Even the Western man does not know what Brahman is. So, if the Western man says, I don't understand what Brahman is, don't get surprised. Don't get angry with him because you too do not know what Brahman is. Do you know? Do you know what Brahman is? The student in Taittiriya Upanishad in the beginning, did he know what Brahman is? So, if the audience says, if the Western audience says, if the modern audience says, I do not know what you are saying, I do not know what Brahman is, you tell him, even I do not know. Then why did you say, I know the meaning of the word. I know the meaning of the word Brahman, that it is imperishable raw material of everything, the sum total, the constant sum total of everything that is remaining constant, that is neither getting destroyed nor is created. That concept, theoretically, I consider that to be Brahman. What that is, in what form it exists, I did not understand. A student in Taittiriya Upanishad also did not understand. Now let me tell you the story of Taittiriya Upanishad. Tell him. Then Annam Brahmeti Vyajanat. Then he says, yes, this is a very interesting way of looking at it. But I think that is wrong, that's not sufficient. He might say, your modern audience, your Western audience might say that this answer is not complete, this answer is not full. Then you say, yes, you are right. Even the student in Taittiriya Upanishad was told by his guru that that is not the final answer. See, you are as good as that student. You are as intelligent as that student because you could see that that is not the final answer. Go further. And then all the other answers come, and every time he says, I don't think this is the final answer. Then finally Anando Brahmeti Vijayanath comes. Then also he might say this is not the final answer. You can say that there is anavastha dosha. Yes, this is not final, this is not final, that is not final, but you can go on and finally there has to be some end somewhere. That end is Brahman. What is that end? Wait for it. The whole process of Adhyatmika sadhana is to try to understand what Brahman itself is. Even I do not know. You too do not know. That fellow called it Ananda in Taittiriya Upanishad. If you do not agree with that, don't agree with that. Search for yourself. Finally, one fine morning, if you get a feeling that I found that, that is what all the Upanishadic seers did. All the Vedic seers also, Vedahametam, they said. Right? When somebody finds it, the final statement is Eureka. You know Eureka? Who said Eureka? Archimedes said. In Vedas, the same Eureka has been said as Vedaham. Vedaham etam Purusham Mahantam. You tell that fellow, you tell that modern man, you tell that Western person that even I do not know, but when I know, when I come to know, I will be saying Vedaham. Then he will ask you, what does that mean? Veda means know, I know. Aham. Aham is I. Veda, know. Vedaham means I know. He says, wow, good word. I know. Okay, in English I can say I know, but in your language I can say Vedaham. He has fancy for such new words. So instead of saying I know, he goes on saying Vedaham, 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 Vedaham. Enjoy. He learns that word, but he cannot say it now. He cannot say Vedaham immediately. You have to say, no. Tvam na Veda. Vedaham is not, you are not eligible now. You have to say only when you actually know. Search for it. So, your Upanishad is saying that I do not know, you tell him. That is the beauty of Upanishads. It's not like Bible. It's not like Quran. It does not say, I know and you must believe in that. No. Search for it. Try to know for yourself. Go investigate. Go inquire. Every Upanishad is the story of an inquiry. Right? And there are methods of inquiring. When Yajnavalkya and his wife talk to each other, there is a conversation, they are inquiring. Every time there is a question, answer. Question, answer. They discuss question and answer way. You tell him, he will definitely get impressed. Because that is the way investigation has to be done. That is the way inquiry has to be done. Every modern man knows that. Every Western person knows that. Every common sense person knows that. Every person with common sense knows that that is the way you must do inquiry. That is the way you must do investigation. So, he will definitely like that these books are structured in such a way that they are open-minded, they are open to inquiry, they are leaving everything to your own investigation, and they are documenting, they are recording one kind of investigation, they are recording one kind of inquiry that has happened, then they will start enjoying. But if you start saying that, you see, Brahman means Lord, everything is Lord, Lord is already there, Lord is filling everything, then he has that baggage of Lord. And he starts thinking that that Lord which he has in mind, Yehovah, he is occupying every place, and starts feeling that Yehovah here, Yehovah is not there. Then he says it's wrong. Whatever Lord he has in mind, for example, Lord Mekale is not everywhere. He has some Lord in mind, his own Lord, landlord. He is not everywhere. So don't bring those words like Lord. You just translate the word Brahman as it is. And the beauty of Sanskrit, let him enjoy the beauty of Sanskrit. For example, the word Brahman comes from the root Brahma. You know that? The word Brahman comes from the root Brahma. Brahma is what? To expand, to blow, to blossom. Okay? To become big from the small, to become big from the smallest. And you make him feel the word. When something expands from small to big, it brum. What happens? Brum happens. That very root, that dhatu, brum has that expression, something is brumming. Right? Brum is happening. So, Brahman is that which has brummed. You understand? So that feel of Brahman, if he feels that, then he starts enjoying the word. He starts feeling that all these words in their language, rasa, dharma, Brahman, every word has the feel of the meaning in it incorporated into that. It is coming from a certain root, and that root has the feeling. Brahma has that feeling. That is why it is Brahman. So, to imagine this whole universe, this cosmos as brummed thing, that which has expanded from something very little, it has expanded. Big bang. Right? Big bang. Some big bang has happened. What? You don't use Big Bang for him, because Big Bang has a certain physics connotation. So he will bring that baggage with him and will then say, oh, it's not Big Bang, I don't agree with Big Bang. It is something like Big Bang. It is not Big Bang, it is Big Bang. You separate those two words and say, it's not Big Bang, it is Big Bang. Right? If something big bang happens, that is called brum, and that which has come from Brahm is called Brahman. That is why we are calling all this as Brahman. He feels it. It's possible for him to feel. Bang means? Frog. Okay. Big bang. This universe is a big frog. That's also beautiful. See, actually what happens, for example, if there is a Bengali audience, he thinks when you say it is big bang, he thinks that that is big frog. You tell him that वह बंगाली बैंग नहीं है, अंग्रेजी बैंग है. बंगाली बैंग तो फ्रॉग होता है, अंग्रेजी बैंग तो अलग बैंग है. तो सब पूछेगा क्या है अंग्रेजी बैंग, क्या होता है? फ्रॉग तो नहीं है, एक अलग चीज है ना? तब बताना ढम बोल के, इसको बैंग बोलते हैं. ये छोटा बैंग है. इमेजिन करो बहुत बड़ा डुम हो गया तो उसको बैंग बोलते हैं. अंग्रेजी में ऐसा एक शब्द है, बता दो उसको बंगाली आदमी को, वो समझ लेता है वो बैंग अलग है, वो फ्रॉग नहीं है. अंग्रेजी में एक बैंग है, उसका मतलब है डम. बहुत बड़ा डम होता है, वो बहुत बड़ा डम को बैंग बोलते हैं. वो बहुत बड़ा डम जो बैंग है बैंग बोलते हैं. बिग बैंग को संस्कृत में बोल दिए हैं ब्रह्म, एंड दैट हैज बिकम ब्रह्मन. दैट इज एंजॉयबल. दे एंजॉय इट. Whether it is a Bengali man or a modern man or a Western man, make them enjoy the beauty of the Sanskrit language, the roots of the Sanskrit language, because they don't actually carry the baggage. That is the advantage. But if you are teaching to the traditional audience, go to a temple, the bhaktas sitting there, if you start teaching all this, they don't listen. They don't follow all this because they already know Brahman. All of them are jnanis. Believe me, they think that they know dharma, they know Brahman, they know Ishvara, they know Isha, they know Trimurtis, they know everything. ये तो नहीं है. ये तुम जो बता रहे हो ये नहीं है बोलेगा. क्या सच है? जो बाबा बोलेगा वो सच है. बाबा इमोशनल होकर टीयर्स रखकर बोलता है ना, दूसरों को भी टीयर्स आना चाहिए, डांस करना चाहिए, सब बताता है ना आस्था चैनल में, संस्कार चैनल में. ये सच है. इन लोगों का एक अलग दुनिया ही है. बट दीज पीपल आर गुड. दिस वेस्टर्न ऑडियंस एंड मॉडर्न ऑडियंस, दे आर गुड बिकॉज दे डोंट कैरी दिस बैगेज. ये लोग नहीं बोलते हैं कि मैं जानता हूं, मैं जानता हूं. ये लोग बोलते हैं आई नो, मैं जानता हूं. क्या जानते हैं? अब तो इस बाबा का जानता हूं, पहले दूसरा बाबा का जानता था, कल तीसरा बाबा का जान चुकूंगा. हर एक बाबा का जानता हूं. जो भी मेरा बाबा बोलता है वो करेक्ट है, अब करेक्ट है, बाद में दूसरा करेक्ट है. इस दुनिया बहुत मुश्किल दुनिया है. संस्कार चैनल में जो दुनिया मिलता है, प्रवचन के जो ऑडियंस रहते हैं, बहुत मुश्किल ऑडियंस है. ये ऑडियंस अच्छे ऑडियंस है, इसलिए कि उनको बैगेज नहीं है, वे जिसी बैगेज से नहीं आते हैं. अच्छे ऑडियंस है, ओपन माइंडेड ऑडियंस है. देयर इज अ गुड रिसेप्शन, दे रिसीव यू वेल. Don't think that all Western audience are bad people. All modern audience are bad people. If a Western audience or a modern audience is coming with a prejudice, then it is bad. There could be some people, but we are not talking about that. If they are coming with prejudice, you cannot do anything. It takes a lot of time to remove those prejudices, those negative ideas that they have in mind and all that. We are talking about sincere Western audience, open-minded Western audience, modern audience, simple modern audience. There are many like that in India also, who have been alienated from our culture, but they are open to learning. They have a respect for our culture, they have a respect for our tradition, but unfortunately, due to their brought up, whatever happened at their houses, whatever their parents did, whatever their schools did, they lost connection with our tradition. But they are open-minded, they want to learn. Such audience are good audience because we have no problems with them, we can explain to them very well, articulate to them. But for this, you need to know at least, first of all, some English, some amount of English. Swami Vivekananda and Sri Aurobindo, that category, they had a great command over the language that they were using. So they were able to mold the language that way they wanted. That was a different time altogether, but we are in a different time now. For this, you need not know very advanced English also. What you need to do is only be critical about the original meanings of these Sanskrit words, and be critical in knowing that the English words that you are using are not capable of articulating that idea. So try to pick up good words, some simple words from English from the right place, and articulate the original Sanskrit word into that idea, into whatever that word communicates. For that, what you need to do is, first of all, in the target language, that is English. For example, if you are talking to English speaking people, English is the target language. Go to the word that you are using and look for the meaning that it has got according to that audience. Then you will realize that it is not able to articulate your ideas. Okay. So this is a great skill. You have to acquire this skill. This skill that what your audience thinks about that English word, according to the baggage that he has got, his dictionaries tell him, or the usages that are there in English, he carries some meaning already in his mind. You should understand what he understands by that word. And then there is a way, always there is a way when there is a will. Then you find out, okay, no, this is not communicating my idea properly. Then let me pick up another English word, create a good sentence, very simple sentence, which is able to articulate my ideas. If possible, just give direct etymology like dharma, holder, dharma, bearer, dharma, wearer, Brahman, expanded, right? All this. Rasa also, direct translation is juice. There is nothing wrong in saying that it is juice, right? Do you know that somebody, when he reads a book, he says, what is the juice of this book? What is the juice of this book means, what is the actual summary of this book? What is the content? What is the useful content? What is the value adding content of this book? To say that, he says it is the juice of the book. I give a speech. If somebody says what is the juice of his speech, it means what is the useful summary, what is the useful content that comes from all the speech that he gives, that is called juice. So if they understand that word, just test your audience, and if they understand juice in that way, tell them that juice of a movie, for example, juice of a theater, for example, juice of a dance performance, for example, is not the content. What is the juice? Why did you pay 250 rupees in an IMAX or INOX or any mall, multiplex theater? Why did you pay that? To know new information? To know new news? To know new content? You went there all the way by paying 350 rupees to weep. If somebody does not weep and comes out of the movie hall, waste of 350 rupees. If he is holding himself tight, no. I don't want to weep. He has unnecessarily paid that 350 or 250 or 150, whatever he has paid, he has unnecessarily wasted that money. He has paid that money to come out of the hall. While walking slowly down the stairs, he has to say, wow, how well I wept, how well I was rolling the tears, how well that movie made me roll tears. That's great. He paid the money only for that, right? You tell him that is the juice of any performing art. Whether it is a movie or a theatre or harikatha or jatra or whatever performing art is there, we have gone there to get that juice, not the content, not the information. After this class, if someone says what is the juice of that class, you will give the content of the class. You will give the knowledge, information, that ideas that you learned from this class. But from a movie hall, that is not, you already said that content is not the juice of the movie. Enjoyment, the entertainment that the movie gives. And if they come to know that to mean juice, there is a word called rasa, they enjoy it. For example, mango juice. What is mango juice called in your language? Modern, traditional language. You tell them it is called mango rasa. He definitely, while drinking rasa, while enjoying the taste, he says rasa. That word is like that. Sanskrit is such a language. Sanskrit has got that making feel that. So now I have rasa. In the movie hall, I have got that rasa. He can connect mango rasa and that rasa. You just tell him, when you just translate rasa as juice only. Okay? But you tell him that it is the emotional juice, juice of entertainment, juice of artistic enjoyment, juice of audience enjoyment. That is metaphorical, lakshanika prayoga. He understands. Right? He is not such a fool to think that there is actual juice. When you say there is juice of entertainment, he understands that. Even when we say rasa, for the rasa that we get from a movie hall or a theatre, we are using the word rasa only in a lakshanika way. So in Sanskrit itself, it is lakshanika. So make your English word also to be lakshanika. In doing lakshanika prayoga of the word juice, because already in Sanskrit itself, in the source language itself, in the original language itself, it is a metaphorical prayoga. जब शिशु को बुभुक्षा होती है, हंगर होती है, क्या करती है? रोती है. जब टेक्नोलॉजी को हंगर होता है, क्या करता है? बोलता है. This sound was that. It was saying. We could not understand. Only a mother can understand. No, don't get offended. Mother is a good word. Mother is not a bad word. He understood that there is hunger. Okay, he fed it now. He fed it properly. It's all right. When in future we are going to live with robots, we should know what their food is. Even a robo can give you ping, 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 ping. Then you have to say, it's sleeping. Put battery, charge it. Then it starts walking. Right? रोबो का वीपिंग का एक अलग तरीका होता है ना. अगर रोबो को नेचुरल बना देना चाहता है तो रोबो मेकर क्या करता है, वो पिंग पिंग के बगैर इसको रखता है, हम ह्यूमन वीपिंग को रिकॉर्ड करके उसमें रख देता है, तो समझ जाते हैं ये चल रहा है अंदर, है ना. हाँ, सो नाउ हाउ टू आर्टिकुलेट टू द वेस्टर्न ऑडियंस, हाउ टू आर्टिकुलेट टू द मॉडर्न ऑडियंस, provided they do not come with a baggage, provided they do not come with prejudice. You now understood? If they come with a prejudice, if they come with some ideas, it's always difficult. That's a different ball game altogether. Let us discuss how to do that, how to remove prejudices. First of all, we should remove those prejudices that they come with. First, for that we should know the prejudices with which they have come. Each audience comes with different kinds of prejudices. We should first study those audiences, with which prejudice they come. Actually, with samskar, asta kind of audience, the temple audience, that mass audience, millions of audience, you don't have to do anything. They have their own babas. They will do that. And they are happy with each other, don't disturb them. Our job is to talk to people who are ready to listen to us, who are open to listen to us. Right? They are hungry with hunger for knowledge. जिज्ञासा है उसमें, ज्ञातुम इच्छा है. ज्ञातुम इच्छा अगर है, ओपन माइंडेड है, सुनने के लिए तैयार है, तो उनको बता देंगे. उन लोगों में एक अच्छाई भी है. क्या अच्छाई है? वे कुछ नहीं जानते हैं, बैगेज नहीं है, बैगेज के साथ नहीं आए हैं. ये अच्छाई है, उनको हम समझा सकते हैं. इतना ही चाहिए उनमें कि ओपन माइंडेड रहना है, सुनने के लिए तैयार रहना है. ऐसा कुछ ऑडियंस आ गए तो उनको हम समझा सकते हैं. इसके लिए पहले तो इंग्लिश सीखना है. तुम्हारा इंग्लिश प्रोफेसर सिखा रहे हैं ना, तुम समझ गए कि इस इंग्लिश से कुछ भी नहीं है, मार्क्स नहीं आते हैं, ग्रेड्स में नहीं लेते हैं, छोड़ दो, क्या करेंगे. मगर अगर तुम सीख लोगे अच्छा इंग्लिश तो तुम्हारे लिए एक अपॉर्चुनिटी है, देवदत्त पटनायक बन जाओगे. देवदत्त पटनायक से भी अच्छा देवदत्त पटनायक बन सकते हैं हम, इसलिए कि संस्कृत जानते हो. देवदत्त पटनायक को संस्कृत नहीं आता है, तुमको आता है. देवदत्त पटनायक बुरा आदमी है क्या? क्यों बुरा आदमी है? अच्छा ही आदमी है, कुछ जानता है, दूसरों को बताना चाहता है. इसमें क्या बुराई है? हाँ, माई गीता में बुराई है, ठीक है, माई गीता बोलने में तो बुराई है. मगर वह तो फ्रैंक है. माई गीता बोलने से वो बोल रहा है माई गीता. माई गीता का मतलब है मैं कम समझ चुका हूं, कम समझाई है, इसमें कम ही है. ओपनली बता रहा है, मेरी गीता में ज़्यादा नहीं है, मेरी गीता में मैं भी कम हूं, मेरी गीता भी कम है. फ्रैंकली बोल दिया है, ये अच्छा ही है. अगर ऑडियंस समझ जाते हैं कि वह गीता में बहुत बड़े बड़े बात होंगे तो वो उनका गलती है ना. वे लोग भी समझ जाना चाहिए कि इनको कुछ भी नहीं पता, इनको भारत स्टोरी को आसान आसान बातों में ड्राइंग से बताना इतना ही पता है. जो रामकृष्ण यूनिवर्सिटी में संस्कृत वेदांत पढ़ते हैं, कैवल्योपनिषद पढ़ते हैं, छांदोग्योपनिषद पढ़ते हैं, काश्मीर शैविज्म के ऊपर एमफिल करते हैं, ऐसे लोग तो नहीं हैं. वाक्यपदेयम के ऊपर रिसर्च करते हैं, अनुविद्धमिव ज्ञानम बोलते हैं, ऐसे लोग तो नहीं हैं ये लोग. मगर एक गैप है, ये लोग इंग्लिश नहीं जानते हैं, इंग्लिश जो जानते हैं उनको संस्कृत नहीं पता है. ये कनेक्शन होना चाहिए. संस्कृत जो जानता है उसको इंग्लिश पता होना चाहिए, इंग्लिश सीख लेना चाहिए. कम इंग्लिश, ज़्यादा इंग्लिश की ज़रूरत नहीं है. एटलीस्ट क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग, You need not use high sounding words, big rhetoric, flowery language. This is not required. Use simple words, simple English, be critical, think that those words that you are able to see from an English dictionary are not able to communicate. In simple words you communicate. Always actually simple communication only sells more. If you use big words, it doesn't sell well. Because you do not get big audience if you are using unnecessarily big words. And by trying to use big words, we have a possibility of committing mistakes. By using simple words only, we can be careful. We can be accurate. We can be more communicative. We can be more articulating. Okay. One suggestion I have is take a simple dictionary. Sometimes they call it junior English dictionary. In that he says, I am covering only 5,000 words. Take that dictionary, look at every word. Don't go letter by letter. Don't start with A. Directly go to say, for example, look at Z, it has least number of words. Go to Z. And look at words like zebra, you know that word already. Zoo, you know that word already. Then whatever words you already know, go on putting a tick mark there. Go on putting a dot there. Then only a few words are left out, which you did not know. Take a highlighting pen, highlight those words, which you did not know. Focus on those words. After a few minutes, you would be able to say that I know all Z words. Right? Do that to another letter. Go on doing. After some days, you will be able to say that I know all the words of this junior English dictionary. Actually, that is enough. You need not know the whole big Oxford dictionary or big Cambridge dictionary. The whole of that dictionary is not necessary. That basic vocabulary is enough. When you look at bigger words, more advanced words, you must be able to explain those words in terms of these smaller words. That is the right knowledge. That is the actual scholarship. If you are not able to explain big words in small words, that is not the right way of understanding any language. Actually, language has to be built over simple words to more complex words. Then only our intelligence, our IQ also works very well. Okay. So don't get frightened that I should know all the big words. I should be able to command Word Power Made Easy by Norman Lewis. You know this word? This book? This book is very popular among GRE students. Word Power Made Easy by Norman Lewis. I should read advanced vocabulary teaching books. All these books. Don't worry about it. Don't try to learn those words also. At this stage, you just learn simple English words, junior English dictionary words, and using those junior English words itself, you can, I am assuring you, you can articulate entire Upanishads. You can articulate entire Nyaya Darshana. You can articulate entire Yoga Darshana. You don't need big words for that. Because you are not even looking for those big translations, because you are very critical. You are saying that Samadhi has to be translated as Samadhi only. I have to give the etymology of Samadhi in simple English terms. Swamiji in Raja Yoga translates Samadhi as concentration. But, okay, at his times he translated Samadhi as concentration. But let me make them realize that it has got two upasargas in it and there is a dhatu. Let me make them understand the dhatu in it and how samadhi, the etymology of the word samadhi comes. Make them realize, then make them realize the actual meaning in which Yoga Sutras are using it by making them understand the whole context of the word. They are very good students. I assure you that these open-minded modern and Western audience are good students. Don't be prejudiced against them. Just as they can be prejudiced against you, you should not be prejudiced against them also, that these people are bad people. They are not bad people, they are open-minded. They are ready to learn from you. So make them understand that there is this language, there is this etymology. They definitely enjoy the etymologies of these words. You are capable. You have Vyakarana with you. If Samadhi, Siddhi of Samadhi has to be done, you can easily do it using the Ashtadhyayi Sutras. Without Ashtadhyayi Sutras also, you can help them understand the etymology of the words. Right? Make them understand. Are you getting the confidence that you can articulate? और स्टिल यू फील दैट ये तो मेरी बस की बात नहीं है, ये मेरी बस की बात मेरी है। बस की बात है तो रेल की बात भी होना है ना। ये चलेगा क्या पूछे तो लोग बोलते हैं चलेगा क्यों दौड़ेगा। यह मेरी बस की बात नहीं है तो रेल की बात तो कम से कम होना चाहिए, है ना। ओके, सो नाउ ऑल ऑफ यू प्लीज स्टार्ट थिंकिंग अबाउट राइटिंग योर आइडियाज अबाउट संस्कृत कॉन्सेप्ट्स इन English, whatever English you know, whatever way you know, simple passages, simple essays, simple articles, you start writing. Please start sending them to me. I'll give you my email ID. Email them to me. I will definitely be able to see a great understanding from you. Though there can be one or two small grammatical mistakes in your English, I will tell you what those grammatical mistakes are. I will not be doing anything other than just telling you, don't use this tense this way, don't use this article this way, don't use this preposition this way, that's all. All that I do is only that. Or do the same to your English teacher or any person who is sympathetic to you, who understands you better, who is friendly to you, show them to them. Right? A good friend is the one who is empathetic towards you, sympathetic towards you. You should go only to such people. Right? You should not go to people who are already prejudiced against a Sanskrit student, that he does not know anything and all that. They will start heckling at you, then you will lose your confidence. Deliberately you are losing your confidence by approaching such people. Don't approach them. Don't go to them. Go to good people, friendly people, show your English to them. Write simple articles. Okay? Yogas chitta vritti nirodha. Okay, take that one line. Whatever you have as an understanding, write some 10 lines about it. Okay, Swamiji has said in Raja Yoga something, you read that, but think about it. Is it correct? Can I explain this differently? If you can explain it differently, try to explain it differently. Probably Swamiji was explaining that those days in 19th century, late 19th century, early 20th century, they were doing it like that. But today I may have to explain it differently. Let me explain it differently. Try that. Would you start doing? Take some Nyaya Sutra. Try to explain that. Take some Upanishadic statement, try to explain that in English. Don't worry about grammatical mistakes. I know people who commit 10 mistakes in every sentence but are very fluent. They go on speaking. I saw one person in Tamil Nadu who does not use verbs at all but gives speeches for 1 hour. He is very confident about it. No verb in his sentence. He goes on putting, very fluent. His secret is confidence. The problem is to the audience, not to him. right? You are not as bad as that. Are you as bad as that? You don't use verbs? You may commit small mistakes in prepositions or articles or something like that somewhere, right? Those can be corrected. Those can always be corrected. Just be conscious. I may commit some mistake. Once one mistake is corrected, you will never repeat it. Or the most, you may be committing some 10 mistakes. Those 10 mistakes may be getting repeated hundreds of times. Because of that, you may be thinking that I am committing hundreds of mistakes. All these hundreds of mistakes are repetitions of only 10 mistakes. If you correct that one mistake, you have already corrected 100 looking mistakes. Correct? So, all your so-called hundreds of mistakes, when 10 mistakes are corrected, will become 0 mistakes. Okay? Don't worry. Show it to me or show it to any other person who is sympathetically, empathetically corrects you. Start articulating to whom? To the West. Modern means Indians only, they are not Western people, but they have been alienated from our culture. They have a bad brought up at their houses, but they are open to learn. They are open to learn. Why do they all the way come to Ramakrishna Mat, for example? They do not know anything about Vedanta, they do not know anything about Nyaya, but they came all the way from some part of Kolkata to Ramakrishna Mat and patiently listened to the Swamiji's speech, but they do not have any background in Dharma, in tradition. They come here because they have open mind. They want to learn, they have respect for our tradition, but they have no background in our tradition. So such audience or your audience, you try to articulate your Sanskrit knowledge to them. You are capable of doing that. Are you not capable? You keep telling yourself the whole night, I am capable, I am capable, I am capable, I am capable. Every moment you start telling, I am capable, I can do that, I can do that. Who else can do? I can do that. Keep telling. And you will definitely be able to do that. Okay? Okay.
स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतार